What is something that your parents did that you will never forgive them for? Dad invited his nephew, who was fresh out of jail for killing his own father, to stay at our place for a while. I was 3 at the time and he sexually abused me multiple times, and my dad would still have him babysit me. When my mom learned and wanted to take legal action, he fought her all the way, because family is family. Thank God I have my mom. She fought for me before I was able to. I don't remember a lot from it, because of CPTSD, but some of the things she has told me are horrifying and explains a whole lot now that I am older. They beat the shit out of me. Sent me to school with bruises. Threatened to have my sisters split from me if I ever told anyone what they did to us. Now my bio mom tries to guilt trip my sisters into convincing me to let her and her shitty husband back in my life. Aside from that, they also stabbed our dog, poisoned my squirrel and cut my sister's guinea pig's head off. But I'm the unhinged and unstable person. Some people should never have children. Mine is heavy, but I'll be honest, my mother was a prostitute when I was a child. When I turned 4 and my sister was 5, she decided she wanted to earn even better money by pimping out her kids, us. This was a part of my life for a few years until I went into foster care. I'm a grown adult and I accept what happened in my childhood and I've done the work to heal. But I'll never forgive her. Some things are unforgivable. My dad used to tell us all the time how my stepmom was the most important person in his life and how he wished he never had kids. When he was dying, his wife was already moved on to her next man and didn't even go see him the day he died because she had other stuff she needed to do first. I'll never forgive him for putting her above us. I was sexually abused by my grandfather constantly for years. It's one of my earliest memories. Later in life I found out that he did something to my older brother before I was even born. They stayed away from him briefly after that, but then carried on as if nothing happened because they didn't want to cause an issue. My mom left my bro and I behind to go be a meth head while lying to people about having cancer. I've confronted her, told her to show proof of the cancer. Nothing. She gets cancer every 5 to 10 years without going to the doctors. My mom letting my stepfather beat me almost unconscious and now denying 15 years of abuse on me and my brother. We were really affected when we realized that she will never apologize or even accept that it was also her fault for not doing anything about it. There's far too much and it's far too depressing. Mom chose drugs, alcohol, and dicks over her kids. We were constantly going into foster care. Don't get me started on those fucking pedophiles. Never mind our mom's boyfriend, Bob, who we had to call Papa. He was trash all around. The more I remember, the more I don't want to. Us 5 kids weren't raised. We fucking survived. And barely that. 2 oldest siblings killed themselves. My other 2 have been on and off of heroin for many years now. My mum sold my dog while I was at work. When I came home and was looking for them, she told me that someone came to see him today and that they loved and went to a good home, but I never got to even say goodbye. Edit, appreciate all the love. After reading all your stories, I can say that I am unhappy that I am not alone in this. Probably that I ended up being the mediator between my mom and dad as they went through a divorce and one side was being frustrating to communicate with than the other. So I in part had to act as a go-between information and nagging them to communicate for stuff like medical bills and insurance and school payment stuff from 7:15 or so. I don't think I could ever forgive my dad for his excessive drinking and calling me god-awful names, threatening to call the cops on me for arguing with him or not finding his bag of nuts while drunk, and chasing me out of my own home after I gave him a place to stay twice. It's a lot of shit he did to me as a kid, except he threatened to send me to a psych ward. Putting me back there after he apologized about it only to do it again tells me he won't ever change. He held a knife to my 12-year-old brother's throat and threatened to kill him. Abandoned multiple family dogs on the side of the road. Abuse of each other in front of me. She put her fist through the china cabinet in front of me. Blood everywhere. I was 5. I moved across the country. He is now gone, and I have no contact with her. My dad tried to commit suicide when I was a baby. That alone is bad enough, but he tried to take me with him. My grandfather came to the house and basically told him, if you give up on life, that's your choice, but you aren't taking my grandson with you. I miss you, Grandpa. My entire life my mom has always talked about wanting me to have my own life. When I finally moved out to live with my then girlfriend, she decided to write me a letter. It detailed how if I still lived with her, she could have done so many things for me, like getting me a car. She then wrapped the letter up with saying me being born ruined her life. Now she wonders why our relationship is so bad. Mom overdosed on heroin right in front of me, when I was 3 years old. She came into the room I was having a playdate in, fell over, and OD'd. She then told me she had tripped over my toy truck and that's why she fell and the ambulance came. I felt so bad about hurting her for 10 years, until she finally told me at 13. After their divorce, my mom tried to convince my brother and me that our dad never wanted us and never loved us. My dad is the sweetest man. I'll never fully forgive my mom. She said some more fucked up shit too. I know she was just heartbroken and tried to hurt him, but that is no excuse to hurt your kids in the process. My mom told me she was glad I was going to school all day the next year, since I wouldn't be wasting space at home. I had just been sexually abused and couldn't get out of bed when I came back home from school. After 10 years of promising me the house in exchange for living and taking care of them, Mom decided after a fight to give half the house to the man who tried to murder me in my own home, my brother. Bitch still doesn't understand why my wife and kids moved 300k away from her and that psychopath. They both used me and my siblings to attack and hurt each other. Instead of realizing that we should come first, they selfishly made the divorce about themselves and their happiness at the expense of the other and apparently the kids. Everyone was much worse off in the end. Divorce sucks, but when you have kids, try to make them as comfortable and secure as possible while being mature adults. My relationship skills are fucked because of them. My brother molested me when we were kids. Mom and dad were alcoholic and just oblivious to anything going on in the house. As an adult, I came forward to my mother about it. She cried and then pretended the next day that I had never said anything. Still asks me why I won't have a relationship, let my children around him. My dad told me that being raped by my older brother is a problem between me and him and his not getting involved. Forced me to give all my original Star Wars and Action Man toys to my little cousins, which they absolutely destroyed within 3 months. Would be worth a fortune now. I told my dad that his uncle was molesting my sister and I. He told me to stop lying and made us spend the majority of the summer with him. They chose the pedo over me and my sister. Dark as hell, I saw the rape with my own eyes, and they believe the pedo's words. WTF. It has destroyed my faith in humanity, which has destroyed my faith in the divine. Not believing me when I came home from my first year of uni, said I wasn't on drugs. I was clinically depressed, suicidal, but they said my weird behavior was because I must be on drugs. I've never knowingly taken anything, even 20 years later. No matter what I said or did, they wouldn't believe me or help me. It took a friend at uni intervening, getting me some professional help before I could cope again. After my parents split, my dad looked me in the eyes and told me at 8 years old, it's just going to be me and you, babe. He dropped me off at my mom's for the night and left to another state. It's been 17 years since I've seen him, and to this day denies he caused me severe abandonment trauma. I had a pet bunny, but my parents wouldn't let me keep him inside. It was really cold one night and I begged my dad to let me keep it inside. When he finally said okay, I went looking for him in the dark, found him under our storage shed. He was dead. My dad made me pull him out from under the shed, hold him in my lap as we went for a long drive, so that we could dump him on some side of the road. Raising me as a Jehovah's Witness.